Forgot to turn the lights on. All right. Sounds like the music is playing. Hopefully the audio is coming through clear. I have had so many audio issues with my live streams over time that I always check before the stream starts. So if you can't hear me, or if the music is too soft or too loud, or whatever the case may be, please do let me know. While I go and turn over my little sign that I forgot to do today. Alrighty. Today. So I have been fiddling with this Markdown exporter plugin last week, or no, the week before last week, because last week was Easter and I wasn't around. I created a couple of branches to try and fix some of the issues with images and nested lists. And yesterday I was actually sitting looking at the code, looking at the converter file. And I realized, actually, I wasn't even looking at the converter. I was looking at the actual output. I got a little bit clever, and I realized that if I just open up PHP Storm to the actual directory where the files have been generated, I can save myself all that time of, hey, Carolina, save myself all that time of exporting and downloading files. I could just go into the folder and just see the files there. And I was looking at the actual output that gets generated, and I realized two things. So number one is the fact that, and I kind of did figure this out last week, galleries are nested figures. So that's one of the reasons why the regex is having an issue. And this makes it easier if I just nest it, indent it and show you what it looks like. And then I was also looking at some of the image not image, list items later on in this document, and I realized that there's definitely an issue with processing of list items because this first list item doesn't have an opening tag. So somewhere along the line, something's breaking there. So I was thinking that it would probably be a good idea to actually fix those two sort of quote unquote properly. And by that, what I mean is actually have a look at what the code's doing, see what's what. So that was going to be my plan for today. But then somebody on LinkedIn, a friend of mine from Cape Town, WordPress developer, you might know him, Jeff Pierce. He shared that he was using an AI code review tool. And I thought, well, that could be quite cool for us to actually create some pull requests using the branches we already have and test out these AI code review tools. So the two tools that I'm aware of, the first one is something called CodeRabbit. And the other one that Jeff is using is called Sorcery. So CodeRabbit is AI code reviews. You get a 14-day free trial without a credit card. I signed up for an account on CodeRabbit yesterday. Sorcery is the same, free trial, no credit card required. I think it's 2 weeks. So I've essentially signed up for both. Once you log in, they ask you to yes, I think GitHub does have its own code review tool, so maybe we could even look at that and see how that works. Not a bad thing to compare. But essentially with both of these services, you can log in with your GitHub account, your GitLab account, whatever the case may be, and then you can tell it which repositories to have access to. I've already set up the WP to MD exporter. Let's log into this one as well. I didn't see a login option. It just takes me straight to the app and I'm logged in already, so that's fine. So for both of these, I've set up the WP to MD exporter. So the goal today is going to be to see what they do, how they handle pull requests. I think most of the branches that I've already created are very simple pull requests. So we might have some time later to create a little bit more of an advanced one, maybe trying to actually dive into solving some of these problems a little bit better. But first, I just want to see how they work, what they do, how they do things, how good it is, how bad it is. We can definitely check out the GitHub one. That's not a bad idea. So let's do that as well. And then we'll see what happens from there. So I think that a good place to start would be to look at some of these branches that I've created. There was an image markdown attempt to cursor options, VS Code options. Don't know if it's actually worth trying to use these because I didn't feel like they were super successful to begin with. I don't know. Let's start with the cursor one from 2 weeks ago. Let's start with that. And something else I did yesterday was I moved all of the instructions for cursor to a cursor rules file in the repository. So it's this MDC file here inside the .cursor/rules directory, so that it matches the GitHub Copilot instructions file. And I thought this would be handy because now I don't, in cursor, I don't have any specific cursor rules set up. So my user rules are now blank. I feel like this is a good way to proceed with future streams because then it's on a per project basis. I can copy these rules into different projects. I might stick them in a guest somewhere. And it just means that the IDE itself is blank of any settings or any context. And it's getting it specifically from the rules. So ideally, if I switch between either of the two tools, it should be a similar context, similar environment, that kind of thing. So that was something else I did. So you will notice that these branches that I'm working on are one commit behind. That commit is essentially the cursor rules that were added. So first I'm probably going to need to, I might not need to. Yeah, I don't think I'll need to add those files, so that should be fine. So let's take this branch and let's create a pull request. Let's say cursor attempt to fix image. Yeah, images. And I'm going to try and configure this to be as close to a real world pull request as you might create. So let me go to the issue that it fixes. Images are not included in the export. Yeah, so it fixes number 1. I can't even remember what the code was, so let's have a look. Let's do it this way. Attempt to fix image version. Versus 1. All right, so let's just have a look and see what code was that it did. So it added galleries first, then the images. It kept regular images. It removed any remaining figure tags. And then there's the block image and the gallery function. Okay. Attempt to fix image conversion by handling image galleries. Okay. Normally I would probably add more context to the description, but it's been a while since I wrote this code, so I can't quite remember what we did there, so I'm just going to leave it like that. All right, so there's our pull request. Sorcery AI is reviewing my pull request, and so is CodeRabbit AI. Okay, so here's an interesting comparison already. I didn't expect this. I didn't expect the bots to automatically start doing things on the pull request. I thought I would have to go into the app itself and go check things out. Ooh, all kinds of things are happening. So Sorcery has added a summary. Okay. CodeRabbit's added a summary. Sorcery seems to have a better summary, if you will. So that's kind of cool. CodeRabbit's included the residual HTML tags thing. So that's interesting. Sorcery's been added as a reviewer to the issue. Okay. Sorcery has got a reviewer's guide. It can create diagrams, which is interesting. It's added to the different file level changes. I mean, all of this is probably pretty easy for it to generate. Ensure images in posts are included when exporting. Handle WordPress galleries. Okay, so I mean, yeah, it's basically saying those things have been addressed. Interesting. Okay, so this is kind of a summary of the changes. It's not actually doing like a review, but it's just saying code was implemented to fix the problem. Now, but they can't identify any functional bugs. Essentially, yes. Okay. Ooh, now we got comments. Sorcery bot, I've reviewed the changes and feedback. Consider simplifying the gallery conversion logic. Associating captions based on element order might be fragile if gallery structures vary. Okay. Ooh, the additional preg replace calls to remove leftover figure tags suggests the main conversion regex might need refinement to handle the entire block. That's cool. Like, that is something that I think is a good tip, good comment, because I know that to be true. But if I didn't, that's a good comment. Here's what I looked at during the review: general issues, security testing, complexity documentation. Interesting. Interesting. Sorcery is free for open source. Okay. I like that little addition. Let's see what CodeRabbit has. Nitpick comments. Handle the regex for block gallery detection. The current patterns will also match class names like that or that, because that consumes. Okay, that's cool. So actually breaking down the regex and why it could be wrong is cool. Feel free to keep it as is if you rely on the broader match, but double check. Okay. Possible caption image mismatch, same kind of thing. Always returns the first occurrence of the image's tag exact HTML string when multiple image tags are identical. Every iteration returns the same offset, so the first fig caption after the first identical image is reused for all images. Captions then drift out of sync. Consider parsing with a simple DOM document. Interesting. If you'd like a concrete patch, I can draft one. Interesting. It gives... Okay. So sorcery suggests some things. There's more stuff. There's more stuff here. This change updates. Okay. I think I missed that one. Okay, I missed. That was something I missed. That's fine. The sorcery left some comments. Code Rabbit actually has offered to create a patch. So that's super interesting. Now, what I'm struggling with is passing all of that in my brain because I didn't actually write the code. So I would need to go and have a look and see what it's actually doing. But that is interesting. Refactor suggestions. Strip opening figure tags as well to avoid orphan markup. Only closing tags are removed, so any unhandled figure openings survive the conversion and leak into the final markdown, producing broken markup in some cases. Escape user-provided text and guard against empty URLs. Alt text and caption may legally contain double quotes. Okay. Interesting. I don't know if I would find a tool that combines the best feedback from both. I think I would rather prefer to choose one. If I'm honest, right now, Code Rabbit seems to be the better option because it's actually making like solid suggestions. I think I've kind of shot myself in the foot by adding both bots to the same repository because all of the comments are kind of just sent to the comments of the issue of the PR, which makes it difficult to read the entire sort of review from one point of view of the other. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that open. And I'm going to disable this repository for now. I'm hoping there's a way I can disable this. Okay, automatic code review. Oh, look at that. You can have a CodeRabbit YAML file as well. That's kind of cool. Let's go and have a look at sorcery. Review instructions, current review instructions. Let's look at repositories. Don't seem to have a way. What I would like to be able to do is actually I would like there to be a way to delete a repository. Don't see a way to delete repositories or remove repositories. Let's see what the docs tell us. Hmm. No. Not helpful. Okay, so this is something that I did you press the delete key? This is something that I would like to be able to remove a repository, which I can't currently do. So I wonder if there's something in the GitHub settings that I can. Yeah, I really don't like the fact that I have to remove the app permission. That would be really annoying if that is the case. And that's kind of, for me, that's kind of a mark against sorcery. Like, it would be cool if I could, was it sorcery? It would be cool if I could just stop. It looks like that's what I can do here. So let's enable that. Okay, that seems fine. Okay, let's apply those changes. And then let's go back. Let's delete that PR. So right now I've disabled CodeRabbit. I'm going to just let sorcery run on this one. So I'm going to close this pull request. I'm going to go back to branch, and it was this one. Let's create a new pull request. Let's go fix attempt to fix image conversion. Okay. Now theoretically we should just get sorcery. Yes. Okay. So let's let sorcery do its thing. Let's see if it's any different from the previous one. That could be interesting. And then I'll do another PR and let CodeRabbit run on that. So while that's doing its thing, sorcery is going to happen automatically. What I could maybe do, I wonder if there's a way that CodeRabbit's still doing its thing. But I just told you not to. Maybe. No, they're both still running. How are you supposed to test these things if they just do their own thing? Okay, is there a way that I can just remove? You know, I have to say, as somebody who has built software, this is a clear smell of a startup environment. Let's just build the MVP and not care about people who want to remove it. I probably could remove the reviewer, but I shouldn't have to. There should be an easier way just to say, stop reviewing this repository. I did not expect this to be a deep dive into how to remove a repository from from the list. Let's see. Remove story. Nope. Like this should just be like a button. Little trash can. Delete. Okay, let's close this again. Can you like delete PRs? No, you can't. Once it's there, it's there. Okay, let's try this again. So you can generate a badge, but you can't remove. Come on, this should have been review language. Oh, organization settings. If disabled, the repository. If disabled, the repository specific settings configured below will be used. All right, so let's disable that. And profile. You can have a chill or an assertive reviewer. Interesting. Let's go assertive. Request changes, workflow, high level summary, view status, commit status. Okay. Auto review. Let's disable those two for now. Okay. Tools should be fine. Finishing touches. Okay. Chat. Knowledge base. Okay. That should fix that. So now, hopefully, I get only sorcery on a new pull request. Yeah, I don't want to have to do it that way. It's a stupid way to expect me to remove it. I want to be able to disable it on command. So I'm sure that's how the documentation describes it, but that's dumb, in my opinion. Okay, so let's go with sorcery. Let's create a new pull request. Let's go back to branches. Let's go back here. Let's create a new pull request. Fix image markdown. Fix image conversion. Conversion. So close one. Okay. Yeah, I don't have any CodeRabbit workflow files, so it wouldn't be that, Chris. I literally just set this up today. And again, I shouldn't have to do that. There should be an option in the dashboard to just disable this repository. All right. Okay, we've got sorcery happening here. No, we've still got... Okay, review skipped. All right, fair enough. At least CodeRabbit is... It sent a message to say it's not reviewing this anymore, so that's fine. So I can delete that comment. Okay, so now we're focusing on sorcery. So let's see. Okay, add support, enhancements, Okay, this all still seems to be the same. I guess I did expect it to be maybe a bit different, but it seems to be the same so far. Consider refactoring convert gallery to expect image details directly. Okay. Processing blocks sequentially might be fragile. Fair. Yeah, this all looks good. All right. So that seems to be the way that does things. By default, it's made some suggestions. Consider refactoring convert gallery to extract image details directly rather than reconstructing partial HTML strings. All right. Let's take this and give this off to Cursor. So let's go to fix image markdown attempt to Cursor in Cursor itself. Oh, Cursor just updated. I swear I updated this yesterday. So I'm going to just update it now quickly. All right. So no, that's not what I want. This is what I want. Okay. I'm going to see. Consider refactoring that. So let's see if Cursor can figure that out. So first, oh yes, that's what I wanted. I first need to switch branches. Git checkout. Is fix image markdown attempt 2. Oh, it's got instructions. I need to. Ugh. Okay, I just need to commit these changes quickly. Some clean up on some files yesterday. Clear. Okay, let's try that again. Get checkout, fix image march down, send to cursor. Right, so now we're on that branch. So now let's see if we tell it to refactor, convert gallery to extract image details. I wonder if I tell it to review the PR comments. That could be fun. Let's do that. Review. Okay. This branch has been viewed. Right. So automatically reviewed. Does this matter? Read the PR review comments. Right. Let's give it a little bit of context. Let me turn my phone's beeping off because it's going to distract me. Okay. A PR has been created for this branch, and let's give it a link to the PR. And then let's say really when I click just after the 9, that cursor doesn't appear there. Oh, there it is. If I do that, then it does. So let's say refactor. Let's say 2 comments, 2 feedback comments have been added. Review these comments and prepare to refactor the branch. Do not suggest any code changes yet. First, let's just leave it at that. What I wanted to do is I wanted to say, okay, I've read the comments. It suggests I do this, it suggests I do that. And then we can tell it which one to take. So let's say first list the possible changes. What? I don't know where all this came from, but okay. What happened here? Tool MCP get pull request not found. Try enabling the MCP server or switching to agent mode. I'm in agent mode. You stupid thing. I don't have access to the GitHub API. Why don't you? Oh my word. Why is this suddenly a problem? Try enabling the MCP server or switching to agent mode. Okay, well let's see if this is some new thing. I wish it had stopped after saying it doesn't have access. Agreed. Can you read the comments in this pull request? Let's see if it can help me figure out why it can't read the comments in the pull request. No, man. For crying out loud. Okay, so that must have been a network fail or something, because now suddenly it's working. Which is randomly annoying, but okay. I mean, I don't know. Okay, I can see the comments in the pull request. Let me summarize the feedback. Refactor, convert gallery method, the current invitation, okay. Oh, look, it actually just, yeah, okay, fine. All right, cool. Okay. So we're getting something. So let's start by refactoring the convert gallery method. Start by refactoring the convert gallery method as suggested. Let's see what it does. Okay. All right, let's accept all of that and see what we end up with. Now let's move on to improve the block processing logic. This should be interesting. Did it say that? Oh, yes. Okay. Don't know what's going to happen, but let's see. Improve block processing logic. Proceed with improving block processing logic to handle galleries and images in a more combined way. Now, what's interesting about this is that this is actually what I picked up when I was looking at the images. The fact that it's, you know, galleries of images. We picked this up last time. So it'll be interesting to see if this actually fixes the problem. Okay, it's fixing a whole bunch of linter errors. I don't know why this happens, but it like tries to fix linter errors and then fails. And I wonder if that's because I haven't accepted the previous suggestions, and this is kind of one of the things that annoys me about Cursor, is I ask it to fix something. I would prefer that it writes the code for the fix, and then allows me to accept that, and then waits for me to say, right, now check for lint errors. Annoyingly, I don't have the Cursor rules, so that might have stopped this from happening. Who knows? Anyway, okay, let's accept that. Let's see if it... Okay, so it's processing the figure element, which sounds more positive. These are just linter errors. Not too worried about those, if I'm honest. I'm going to skip this and let it do its thing with the linter errors. I don't... Just stop. How do I tell it to stop? Oh, there, stop. Just stop. Just stop. Okay. So theoretically, this has now fixed the gallery image issue. So let's have a look. Get commitments A. So now we will say AI generated fix for AI generated code review comments. Vision attempt fix image markdown attempt to Cursor. Okay, let's see if, because now this should get updated. Let's see if it picks up that there were changes. Doesn't seem to have picked up that there were changes. And now we're getting conflicts. Okay, that's fine. We can figure that out. So now the question is, how do I do a follow-up PR? Follow-up review, I mean. Okay, I wonder if I can... I would like to trigger a second review. It just gives you one. You can trigger a regeneration by writing... Oh, okay. It's the summary. You can reply to start a conversation. Okay. 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 At any point, you can ask Source Street to review an existing PR. Add a comment in the PR saying at Sorcery AI review. Okay, cool. So that obviously triggers some kind of action. So let's do that. That made me laugh. Little eyes emoji. That made me smile. I'm going to give that a thumbs up. I wonder how long the second review takes. Hmm. Ah, there we go. Consider using a DOM parser instead of regular expressions. Okay. Refactor the shared image attribute extraction logic from convert block image and convert gallery into common helper function. Now, why did it only suggest this now? All right. Okay, so now we go back to cursor. And before I carry on, I want to grab the cursor rules from here and stick it in this branch. Oh, this is GitHub. What am I doing? Come on. Oh, there's cursor. Just created it. Guess it doesn't matter where I created. What was it called? Hoping this will stop all those linting business. See, I said here, do not attempt to fix any other errors, including errors, unless asked to. Hoping that will. Or should I attached? Make it always. Okay. So hopefully that'll stop that. All right. So let's create a new chat, leave it in agent mode, and then let's say link, review the most recent comments in the PR, suggest improvements, don't code yet. White space issues. Where did Sorcery talk about white space? Code duplication, yes. HTML parsing. Okay. Let's start by refactoring the common. No, let's start by. I mean, if we go dumb parser, now it's a whole different kettle of fish. We don't even know yet what it does. So maybe we should start there. Let us start by testing what the code does. So I'm going to open the site. So basically the date was the 24th, so this was yesterday, so that it got created. So I'm going to create the new download today and see what happens. Let's export this thing again. Stop. Dot. Don't know why, but whenever I delete files from the directory, something freaks out. I don't know if it's a studio issue or what. It annoys me. Ugh. Strip text. Oh, this is a bug in the code. Oh. Okay. So let's fix that. So the fix for the rewrite added a bug. Yay. Good grief. No, that's not what I want. It's gonna be the best way to do this. I think I can copy. Can I copy from here? No, I don't think I'm enabled to copy from here. No. I'm going to have to open up that site. This will just be easier, then I can see the debug log and the export. Can't remember where word wrap is. Thought it was under appearance. Ugh. Soft wrap. That didn't help. Because of the debug log, that's why. Let's do it this way. Fix this PHP fatal error. Okay, let's hope that fixes that problem. Okay, downs worked. Let's go and have a look at what it's created. Ooh! The images seem to be working. It's sorted out the galleries. It's sorted out the single images. I didn't expect it to sort out this video. That's fine. That we can deal with that in a separate issue. But it does seem to have dealt with the images. I am impressed. Oh, that's why I can't read this. The thing was off screen when I had the debug on. Oh, it's still not wrapping. But at least now it's in the screen properly. What is going on here? Not what I wanted. Let's go back here. Okay. So let's just have a look at the markdown. The markdown shows the right images. It looks like it's actually fixed the images. Not gonna lie, that's pretty cool. That's interesting. Okay. Now we need to do the same thing with Sorcery. No, CodeRabbit, and see what that does. Okay, so let's have a quick recap. It does recommend some additional changes, which I kind of agree with. I actually would prefer to use the WordPress HTML API instead of a DOM parser. I've been complaining about the regular expressions until the first time this code was generated. So it would be interesting to see what the review tool does with, or at least did with the first versions of this code when it was doing regex from the word go. I don't really want to dive into rewriting this thing now. I like the fact that this is actually working. So now what I think I'm going to do is do the same process with CodeRabbit. See what that gives us. See if that fixes the problem. And then we'll have two different branches, and then it'll be a case of deciding which one to actually merge. What this does mean, though, annoyingly, is I now need to go into the settings, and I need to go into GitHub Apps. And I need to remove Sorcery. I'm going to use GitHub Mobile, because none of you have access to my mobile device. So I can approve whatever needs to be approved. So now I just wait for this little window to come up on my phone. Sometimes it takes forever, it annoys me. Okay. Oh, you can remove repositories here. That would have been nice to know. Okay. Not the end of the world. I would have preferred it inside the app. I would have preferred an option to just disable it like we had with CodeRabbit, but I guess there is an option, so fine, fair enough. So let's remove that. I need to select at least, okay, this is kind of annoying. I have to select one repository. So I'm going to select my Advent of Code 2024 just for the sake of something. Would be nice if I could just have it and just disable it in the sorcery side of things, but fine. At least there's an option where I can remove it there. Oh, you can suspend the installation. I guess that's an option. Anyway, I'm just going to stick it on there for now. And that should stop any future sorcery PR reviews. Cool. All right. So, not bad. On the plus side, the issue is fixed, more or less. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rename this slightly and say sorcery review. But this at least is at a point where it's fixed things. Okay, let's create the next one. Now, to really do a proper test, what I should do is re-review the cursor branch. Which, if I'm honest, the last time I looked at it, I seem to recall was the better branch anyway. So I'm kind of okay with that. No, I'm going to do that now. I just want to get the branch up in front of me. So it was fix image markdown attempt. Oh, wait, I've already... crud. I've already pushed changes to that branch. Can't go back in time. Damn it. I'd have to go back to the point in time. Oh, that's annoying. Didn't think of that. So I could check out that commit. I wonder if I could get Cursor to help me with it. I could continue with the list. I would like to see what CodeRabbit does with the same code. To sort of give it an apples to apples comparison. I'm going to see if I can get Cursor to help me create a new branch based on this commit ID. How would I create a new Git branch based on a specific commit ID? Git checkout must be new branch name. Oh. Based on the commit ID, automatically switch that branch. Okay, that should work then. All right, let's try that. So let's do that. And let's call it now, because now naming starts getting impossible. So this was fix image markdown attempt to cursor. It's going to be fix image markdown attempt to cursor 2. I might have to rename these branches a bit better. Fix image markdown attempt to cursor. Let's call it CodeRabbit review. We'll call the other one sorcery review. Oh, I need to commit those changes first. Okay. So get commit minus A. Let's add the cursor. Get cursor rules at get A. Sorcery AI review changes. Oh no, that wasn't sorcery AI review changes. That was fixing a bug after sorcery AI changes and adding cursor rules. Adding cursor project rules. Okay, so that one we're going to have to look at renaming. Let's make a note of this. Actually, let's do that. No, let's do that afterwards. Okay, so now let's go back. Yeah. We said we were going to call this. I said fix, mark down, cursor, code, rabbit, view. Cool. Get push origin view, fix image, markdown, cursor, code, rabbit, review. Cool. Yeah, check out fix image markdown. What was that one called? Attempt cursor. Okay. What command? Git command to rename local and origin branch. Rename the local branch. Delete the old branch. Push the new branch. I don't want to push the new branch though. There's another way to do it. There's a different way to do it. On my site. Rename local. Rename different branch. Delete. Push. Oh, it's. Oh, okay. So, oh, it is that. Okay, so you get push. Oh, okay, so it was right. I questioned it. You don't have to delete it. You can just push the new branch name. Okay, so if we're on the branch, it will be get branch minus M, and then we want to call this. What was the other one called? I'm going to call this. Did I rename these things correctly? No, I didn't, because that was sorcery. Oh no, that's correct. We want to rename cursor to sorcery. That's right. Getting my branch names confused here. Because that was the one we were working on. Branch manage M, new branch name. And then you can just go rename local branch to a new name. Delete the old branch name. So it's get push origin minus new branch name. Why do I keep opening my terminal? Get push origin minus u fix image markdown. Sorcery review. Oh, is that right? Maybe you do have to delete it, but I could have sworn you could have just. Okay, well, let's delete the old branch. Git push version. Delete. Fix. Image. Markdown. Temp2 cursor. Maybe I did something wrong in the last command. Get push origin. Fix. Image. Markdown cursor source review. Oh, that's what I did wrong. There we go. Okay, that looks good. Let's have a look at my branches. All right. So that's the code wrapper review. That's the sorcery review. If we'll have a look at the pull request should be based on the sorcery review. Oh, it's M2. Okay, that doesn't matter. But if we have a look at the sorcery review one, that should have the most recent commit, which is fixing above after sorcery edits. Okay, perfect. So now let's do the code rabbit review one. So this one should be 2 weeks ago, the last commit. Excellent. Okay, let's do a code rabbit review. So let's go back to here. I'm just going to enable organization changes because then it'll just do its thing. Okay. And then let's start the process. So we're going to say fix image markdown in cursor. Code rabbit review. Or just like that, that's fine. What did I call the other one? Can never remember these things. Okay, let's give it a similar name so it all makes sense. Context section. So this is cursor, this is code rabbit. And then what did we say? We said that. Okay. Pull request created. Let's see if code rabbit starts. Yeah, there's code rabbit doing its thing. While that's doing its thing, I'm just going to clear the log file. And I guess now we wait. Okay, while this is doing this, I want to go back to here and I want to see if I missed something. Ah. So that's something I missed earlier, and it would have been handy to realize, is it actually gives you all the things that you can do in the... I need to blow my nose. It gives you a list of all the ways you can interact. So I missed that earlier, so that would have been cool. I do feel like... So that was under tips. They're very similar, tips and commands. They're very similar. Looks like cursor, code rabbit's still doing its thing. What's interesting is CodeRabbit doesn't seem to add itself as a reviewer. Not sure if that's a good or bad thing. While we're waiting, let's have a look at these tips, because I noticed that CodeRabbit seems to be going for sort of the more human interaction. So I push the fix and commit there. Please review it. I kind of like that. I'm interested to see what it suggests. It hasn't. Nothing seems to be happening right now. Maybe that's it. That can't be it. I wonder if this is because I disabled things. I mean, the auto review triggered. See, it's overriding by the... Doesn't seem to be doing anything else. Let's see if it'll do a full review. Let's try that. Now I'm wondering if my fiddling with the settings has broken something. Oh, but my understanding is it's set to the organization settings. Let's see what those are set to. Those are set to chill. And I can't change any of these because I've applied organization settings. Maybe there's a bug. Let's close this pull request. Let's go back to CodeRabbit. Let's go back to the repositories. Let's disable organizational settings. Put it back on chill. Let's enable auto review and auto incremental. I think those are the only two changes that I made. Pretty sure those are the only two changes I made. Let's apply those changes. And then let's enable organization, because that's how it all was. So let's try that again. I mean, is it a... Maybe it's a bigger PR. Maybe that's why. No, it's the same. I don't understand. Okay, well, let's leave it to do its thing. I wonder if it's worth trying the GitHub Copilot option. To do that, I'd need to disable CodeRabbit, though, probably. Don't like sitting around waiting. Especially in a live stream. Okay, while that's doing that, I'm going to go and have a look at the app settings for CodeRabbit. It's the same. Okay, well that's probably why they don't have it in the dashboard, because you can't trigger it from the GitHub side. I still think it would be nice to have it on your repositories in your dashboard, but I guess there is a solution, so that's fine. Oh, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Things are happening. Okay. Oh, look, a diagram. That's kind of cool. I wonder if that's why it took so much longer. Now, why did it do a diagram this time? Interesting. I'm not a fan of the poems. I'm sure you can disable it, but it's something I wouldn't have. That's just me. Okay, nitpick comments. Escape quotes. Right. View details. Additional comments. Blanket deletes all closing figure tags. Okay, so there's an actual okay. Kind of like the diagram. It's kind of cool. Gives a visual overview of what the code does. I'd be interested to know if there's a setting that you can disable that. I'm sure there is. There seems to be a lot of settings in CodeRabbit. Sequence diagrams. Okay, so that's kind of a cool feature. I'd have to check whether Sorcery has it. I don't know why that's open. but that is a cool feature. Don't know if I'd want it on every PR. I don't like the poem. Hoping the poem is something you can disable. You can. Good. And this is somebody who works in WordPress where code is poetry, but you know, you don't have to have poetry for every single pull request or every single review. I'm interested to see what Cursor does with the comments. Because there are some specific... What I do like is the refactor suggestions and the sections of code. That's kind of cool because I think what it's doing is it's actually doing it in line in the sort of... It's doing like an actual code review like I would do. I would review it in this window and I would leave comments. So I kind of like that because now somebody can come along and work on this issue, this thing, and then make a change and then move on to the next thing and make a change. So I do kind of like the fact that it's more similar to what you would do if it was a human being. I don't think Sorcery did that. Oh, Sorcery did. Okay. Well, I missed that. Sorcery did actually do that. All right. Then I can't complain. So then they're both doing it. That's cool. All right. I guess the proof will be in the pudding. If the review comments get fixed, there's something about that. So that could fix the image issue that we were having. There's some things happening there. There's a lot more. There seem to be a lot more comments here. From my perspective. Now, I don't know whether that's because CodeRabbit is just more for bows or because it's actually picking up more things in the first review. So that's interesting. Okay, let us do the AI vibe code thing. And let's say create a new window. Let's say inverter. And let's say review the read through the AI review comments, the comments on this pull request. I'm just going to do that. I just want to see what it does. Okay, 2 main review comments, regex pattern for gallery, image size, suffix removal. It's interesting, it's only picked up those 2. This time I do have the cursor rule, so hopefully we won't get any... Okay, so these are the implementation recommendations. So let's say update, let's start with the first one. Hopefully I can copy that out. Yes, I can. And then let's copy the next one and have it ready. With the visual processing. Yes, oh, okay, so it's made a change. It's a very small change. So let's... Yes, go for it. Okay, first we need to accept this. Okay, so that is Cursor's attempt to review the comments and fix them. It's a lot less code than the other pull request, which is interesting. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to delete those, and I'm going to delete the zip file, and I'm going to restart Studio because that seems to be a problem when you delete files. I don't know why. I need to log that some way. That happens. Let's go back and let's run the export. Okay, that's good. Actually, the other bug was because of a bug in the code, not a bug in the thing. So I must check if that is actually a bug. Let's see what it's generated. It seems to have worked as well. So the question is, was the first fix necessary? Interesting. So it looks like it's handled the same issue with less code. The video is missing the closing figure. Yeah, the video tag I don't think is 100%. Oh, but it's taken it out, which I don't think it did on the other one. That's interesting. We'll have to switch between the two and check. We'll do that now. Do that now. Let's commit this change. Yep. So what did we call the other one? We called it AI refactoring after AI code review. Can I spell refactoring? Yes, it didn't have an error. It didn't cause any errors, which is a positive. Why am I on sorcery review? Am I on the wrong? I'm on the wrong branch. Damn it. I thought I was on the wrong branch now. Oh, good grief. Git revert the last commit. That one. This one. Okay, let's switch to the right branch. Git checkout fix image markdown cursor code rabbit review. That's where I need to be. Good grief. Let's first like there. That might explain why it was only a few changes. Just stash these changes. That's where I want to be. Okay, let's do a new window. I have to do this all over again now. Let's see. So now we're on the right branch at least. So now we should get more changes. Read the request code review comments and suggest fixes. I didn't ask you to implement, you stupid thing. Ugh. Here we go again with this nonsense. Okay, let's try that again. Doesn't seem to be as many fixes. Let's just commit them. And let's see if they still do the same thing. Okay. All right, the images look good. Yeah, start with the gallery. It's done the same thing. Okay, so it's practically the same fix. We go back here. We should see that there's been a new commit. On the right, I haven't pushed it. That's why. Git push origin. Okay, so that's the code overview code. So still no crashes, so that's good. So the fixes that it fixed didn't cause any breaks. It was a lot less code. It has seemed to have fixed the gallery issue, but as Carolina pointed out, it's broken the figure issue. Now what I want to do is I want to switch back to the other branch and see if that was a problem there as well, because I didn't think to check that. I'm also going to delete these files and see if I can still do the export, whether or not there was an actual problem with the file system last week. I was having an issue when I did that, so let me just test that. Okay, so that's not an issue, so I don't know what that was. All right, let's just delete them again quickly. Has it just not created those files? Just hasn't written those files. It is having trouble. Okay, so there is definitely a file related issue with Studio. So let's stop it. Let's start it again. I'm gonna have to log that one. Yeah. Keep broken. Deary me. I think I broke it. Yeah, that worked. Let's make sure it exported. Yeah, it exported. Okay, cool. So currently this is the same story. The closing figure is missing on the video. So now let's stop that. Let's delete those. Do that. Let's delete that. Then let us switch back to the other one. Let's review. Let's fire up the local environment. Let's export. Good. And then let's see. Oh, so that does the same thing. So it looks like it might even be a pre-existing bug. You know what it probably is? It's probably that closing figure tag is still there. Remember that where it removes the like trailing figure tag? That's probably still there. So what we probably need to tell it to do, which will probably fix the problem, is to handle videos. So that's what I'm going to log. So to do that, what I want to do is I want to switch back to the main branch. Run the export again. And then we will see, this is all the stuff that was breaking. And if we find the video, here we go. We create an issue to handle video. That's a good question. I don't think I've made a decision yet. Let me log this issue and then we'll chat. Handle video conversion correctly. Currently video elements are not converted. Put some code in there and create that. And then I'm going to use that for the next bug. Which one do I prefer? We've got 10 minutes left to do a quick review. I'm going to say, can they not review it before you commit it though? Why use more than one tool? Yeah. I'm going to say, based on this simple experiment, I think I prefer CodeRabbit. Can they not review it before you commit it though? Why use more than one tool? I mean, you're using Cursor without leaving the IDE. So you're saying do the review inside the IDE? I think that is possible. I think Sorcery can do that. I don't think CodeRabbit can. I'm not sure. But I would have to say, based on the current experience, it's difficult to say which one I prefer. They both seem pretty good. Sorcery seemed to, or at least Cursor with Sorcery seemed to suggest a bigger fix than CodeRabbit. I almost feel like Sorcery went... but oh, I see what you mean. The review is not public for anyone else to read. Well, I mean, yeah, that's a different way of looking at it. I do like it happening on the pull request. I do like it all happening there. So as you say, it's public. I personally have always preferred doing code reviews on pull requests in GitHub, because I've always worked in an environment where I needed to do it remotely. So it's always been, you know, a conversation with somebody over the internet. Yeah, I don't know if I think one is better than the other just yet. I do like the fact that CodeRabbit, or the suggestions that CodeRabbit made, seem to result in less code being written. Whether or not that's a good thing, I don't know. I do think CodeRabbit has a lot more features and a lot more settings. I don't like the automatic poem and all of that. Sorcery seems, CodeRabbit's probably been around for a little bit longer, and when I say a little bit longer, maybe like a year longer, you know, in AI terms. Like being around for a while is like a year, 6 months. Perhaps Cursor understood CodeRabbit better. I don't know. I don't know if understood is the right word, but perhaps. I'm honestly finding it difficult to decide between the two. So my suggestion would be try them both. Try them with better pull requests than what I did today. Maybe it just comes down to price. I mean, what are the pricing differences? Let's be real here. Let's see, Activate Pro, US dollars. Yeah, okay. No, can I just see what the pricing is for running out loud? Rabbit pricing. And let's do sorcery pricing. CodeRabbit is $12, $24. Sorcery is $12 for Pro. So from a pricing point of view, Sorcery is winning. I would need to spend more time, I guess, with both of them. It's very difficult to make a decision based on 2 hours of use. They both seem to be as good as each other. They both solved the problem. The one ended up writing more code. Cursor ended up writing more code because of what it suggested. I did like the fact that Sorcery said using regex is not robust. I did like that. CodeRabbit hasn't suggested that. CodeRabbit has just suggested fixing the problem. So Sorcery almost seems to be a little bit smarter. It suggested things that I would have suggested. So it said, consider using some kind of DOM parser. I've been wanting to rewrite this using the HTML API. I like the fact that Sorcery says it's free for open source. I want to dive into that more. Like, what does that mean? Does that mean if my Sorcery walks right away when working on a project that lives in a public repo? So I kind of like that. Means I can keep using Sorcery right now. Maybe what I need to do in 14 days time, in 2 weeks time, is come back and see what I get with the free version on an open source repository. Maybe that's one way to make that decision. Yeah. I think if you had to say to me right now, which one would I prefer? I would say, based on the fact that it seems cheaper, and based on the fact that it's free for open source, and based on the fact that it suggested the DOM parser. I think I would prefer sorcery. Just because it seems to be a little bit more quote unquote intelligent in the suggestions that it's made. It's the kind of suggestion that a developer would make. I have made this suggestion while I was working on this project. Like, why are we using regex? We should use some kind of parser which would be more robust. So I think based on that, I'm going to go with sorcery today. I don't know if my opinions are going to change on that. It might be interesting. I might end up just keeping sorcery enabled on this project as we continue fixing things, and we'll see how it goes. But right now, that's where I would be if I had to make a decision. I would recommend sorcery based on today's experiment and based on how it does things and what it suggests. I would go with sorcery. Yes, that's my final review. Not that I plan on doing a review today. As always, try these things out for yourselves. We didn't have time to do the GitHub review. Maybe I'll do that next week or some other time. But we are getting close to time here. So I want to thank you all for joining me today. I hope this was in some way informative or interesting. But that's where I'm going to stop. I'm going to, I think, continue with this next week. And look at maybe seeing if we can wrap up this image thing. Maybe look at fixing the yes, because well, he's conferencing at the moment, so he probably doesn't care. But I'd like to get the videos fixed next week if we can, and I'd also like to get the list items fixed. I was having a look at the way it converts the list items, and I think I have an idea of what it should be doing there. So I'd like to get that sorted out as well. And I think those are the two big ones. If we can get those sorted out, then it might be in a better shape. So I think that's what I'll do next week, unless something else comes up. That'll be the plan. And maybe we'll use sorcery, and we'll let sorcery do its thing to help us review the code. But otherwise, folks, I'm going to be off. I hope you have a great rest of your Friday and your weekend, and I will see you around next week. Bye.